Well, Moneypenny just dropped off a brand new pocket knife for me. Well, hey folks, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. I am your host, Aaron. And yes, we are looking at the Cold Steel GoldenEye pocket knife. You know, when this dropped about a year ago, I said, man, there's some awesome lines in there. I don't know how I feel about that gold. I saw this on sale on Amazon for $85, so that's what I paid for it. I'll have links in the description below. Amazon, Blade HQ. Really helps us out when you guys use those hyperlinks. Puts gas in the fuel tank to continue to propel the channel and gives me money to buy pocket knives just like this. So I couldn't pass it up for S35 VN steel, cold steel strength, and just a crazy different feel, and named after one of my favorite video games of all time and really got me into video game playing, the N64 version of GoldenEye. Fantastic, and really jump-started the James Bond series for me again, because I've been a huge James Bond fan since I was a child. Loved it. We used to watch TBS James Bond marathons as a family around Thanksgiving time. Many of you may have done that. And Sean Connery was always my favorite. Love some of those. You Only Live Twice. I mean, amazing. Even the Roger Moore ones, though, they're more of hilarity. Like Moonraker and some of those other ones. But I really felt like in the 80s, the James Bond franchise was kind of going downhill. Timothy Dalton was okay, but it just didn't really feel like James Bond. And it really, like, when Pierce Brosnan came on the scene and made a GoldenEye movie, I was like, whoa, this is a great movie, and really kind of sparked my interest again and gave me some hope for a while. And then those started to go downhill, and then now Daniel Craig has made some fantastic James Bond films, I believe. So with all that, talking about a movie, really excited to talk to you about this blade today. Show you what it has to offer. Is this gold aspects just so goofy and gaudy that it doesn't even make sense to purchase it, or does the knife absolutely make sense to pick this guy up? So we're going to break it all down for you today, talk about it, show you what the GoldenEye from Cold Steel can do, and whether or not it would be a pocket knife that James Bond would carry in his $10,000 suit, or if it's just a joke and no one would ever carry it in their $10,000 suit or in their gym shorts. So let's go ahead and jump to it and see what the Cold Steel GoldenEye has to offer us today. Shabwam. All right, so here is your Walther PPK. Just kidding. Maybe James Bond would be carrying that in the next movie. Who knows? But gonna have the Cold Steel Lawman, American Lawman, in for reference points throughout the video, as just size, perspective, and price, and different things like that on the GoldenEye. And I will just hit the two parts that are new, and the gaudy parts of the knife that either you're gonna hate or love. First off, the thumb hole. It's not like a Spyderco hole or something like that. It is a ramp that has been jimped really well. Just so you can see that there, seated and notched, so it's not going to spin or get all out of place. Totally ambidextrous there, so that's really nice, real good. So what that means is for deployment, that deployment is super easy. I mean, without even almost a wrist flick, I can get that thing. Really purchases well with or without gloves, so that's a major positive as well. And then that nice ricasso right there gives me enough that I can disengage, hits my finger without nicking my finger, closes that bad boy back up. Centering is delicious. And then deployment that you would know from Cold Steel. It's tight, it's strong because of the lock back, but with a little bit of work, it's going to work just fine. So the deployment is great. I have zero complaints, and actually it's something kind of cool and a little different than the thumb studs. You don't have to adjust it. So for lefties, you're actually going to like this knife more so than a lot of other Cold Steel knives, because you don't have to adjust anything on that deployment hole. And then the pocket clip. The pocket clip is rather large, different than a lot of other Cold Steels like we see back here with the Lawman, in that it's not curved, so you just rotate it. So that it's not going to come with two pocket clips, which I really like. I hate the whole two pocket clip idea. It's kind of annoying, and if you ever resell your knife or gift it, maybe somebody's left-handed, maybe you forgot where the box is, or the pocket clip fell out. Good luck now. Now you got to contact Cold Steel to try and get the pocket clip figured out, blah 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 blah. So this is nice in the sense of its design. Real no complaints, except for the fact that it's a really high ride. You're going to get about an inch sticking out of your pocket there. Now it does have those 3 screws with a really nice large lanyard hole. That's another big plus there. And of course it's gold, duh. So my crew, Brian, my cameraman, my brother Nate, they're pretty critical. I mean, they see stuff. I try to see all angles. They just kind of see an initial impression. They'll just run their mouth at me. And both of them saw it in my pocket, so it's noticeable. I mean, it's a freaking gold pocket clip. It's not going to go unnoticed, and I'm not going to pretend that it's not. But I said, does that feel like really gaudy or just kind of like obnoxious, like, whoa, you know, kind of thing? And they're like, no, it actually kind of made me go, oh, that's kind of cool. And so take that with a grain of salt. I mean, you're either going to go, wow, that's kind of cool and different, and I'm tired of the black and satin pocket clips that are out there, or you're going to go, that is the most, you know, god-awful, gaudy, you know, 1970s Roger Moore style, you know, James Bond pocket clip I've ever seen, and I will never put that in my pocket. So I think that, honestly, with the knife itself, the gold will either make it or break it. You'll either go, wow, that's kind of cool and different, or you're going to go, that's disgusting, I'm never carrying that knife. So I would love to see Cold Steel in the future come out with, maybe they can call it the black eye, and exact same knife, just have blacked out eye hole or deployment hole and blacked out pocket clip. And I think you're going to get a lot of people to go for that would not go for the gold. You're going to have a lot of people that will go for the gold because it's different and unique and you know, not just a run of the mill, which is pretty sweet. And I think it's cool that Cold Steel is kind of taking a jump that way, playing off of James Bond idea and doing all that. But I do know that there will be definitely a group of people that will go, I will never buy that because it's gold. And I think if they do the black eye, then, you know, that could be another option that will get more people into this design, because I think the design itself is killer. So for pure functionality's sake, I mean, the blade is elegant, awesome, and super, super functional. We have a high hollow grind here. Not like obnoxious, but what you know from most Cold Steel knives, including, you know, the American Lawman back here. So it's going to be a stupid wicked slicer out of the box, insanely sharp, great relief edge. You do have that satin finish on there, and then you have that really nice, thick swedge. So, I mean, it's a pretty thick swedge, great thick tip, but still precise enough to do, you know, all your EDC tasks, but strong enough to do stabbing and, you know, prying. So totally dig that. Nice drop off the ramp. I mean, it's a sick looking blade, guys. I mean, that is a sick, sick looking blade. And then, as I alluded to a little earlier, S35 VN steel. Now, to my knowledge, that is USA made steel and then sent over Taiwan to be put together, because you see Taiwan put on there. That's how we can get that price point on such a knife. So, but I mean, insane edge retention, better than any of the other Cold Steels that are out there. I have the, what is it, CTS XHP on the Cold Steel Lawman behind you in the frame, which is really good and way better than the Aus 8 that they used to do, but this S35 VN is even better. So totally loving that, totally digging it, and the performance is there to match at 0.13 on the overall thickness back here at the spine, but tapering really quickly. And then the drop point, obviously, they do have a Tanto version that is out there, so that is a more combat style if you're looking for that. And then 3.5 inches overall blade length. So the blade is killer, not only in just its, you know, looks, but then in its performance as well for anything you would want of a medium to heavyweight folder in this 3.5 inch size. To give you perspective on how functional, sleek, and elegant this blade is, this knife is the type of blade that could open the package sent from Q with all of James Bond's brand new communication gear in it, then spread on jam on a piece of toast that he's having for breakfast, then slice open the love letter from Moneypenny that was just sent to him, then dispatch 3 assailants from Spectre who have just come in to try and take his life as he's trying to enjoy his breakfast, using this as his only defensive tool, slip it back in his pocket, finish his piece of toast, and head out the door. That's the elegance, performance level, and likability level of this blade shape and the steel that they decided to go with. Well, if you're not familiar with the locking mechanism, the triad locking mechanism, lock back, solid as a freaking rock. Zero issues. Now, it was really hard for me for about the first day to disengage. This happens a lot with Cold Steels, so don't be concerned. I even had to slam this part up against the counter a couple times to loosen up the locking mechanism because it's so solid. 3 points of retention for the lock. But once I got it, you know, worked in, didn't apply any lube, now you can just see how loosey-goosey that is. But it is, I will argue, the strongest, if not one of the strongest locking mechanisms on the market. and you have that huge, epic, giant stop bar right back there. Now, the texture on the G10 is medium grit, so it's not going to thrash your $10,000 suit that you might be wearing as you go into your next poker match to try and get your bad guy to lose all of his money and then have to come in to MI6. So that is a good positive. It's that light green. It's not necessarily, I don't know what I would call it. It's like a forest, like a hunter green, which is nice. 0.4 on the thickness, so it's a slim blade. And so it disappears in your pocket, even though it's 4.875 inches overall length. So it's a long pocket knife, but it's a slim pocket knife. No steel liners in there. Never had an issue with cold steel in their strength. This is going to come in at 4.2 ounces. So for the size, strength, and, you know, performance level of being a harder use knife, heavy duty knife, that weight class is fantastic. We have a lot of finger cuts, which I'm always a little concerned about. I'm like, I don't know about that. Down here, you know, I much prefer usually maybe just like a single cut in and then just smooth sweep out. But with my large size hands, as you guys all love to crack out about and love talking about, it fits perfectly. I have 0 hot spots. My finger just match up perfectly. I've handed it to several other people in my crew, and it all matches up perfectly. No hot spots. You have a pretty large ricasso right there. You're about an inch away from the blade. You can absolutely choke up, and then you are locked in, and I'm not concerned about coming up and, you know, nicking myself. And again, with the deployment, I can, you know, kick that thing down and close it back up. Great for a reverse grip as well. You're not going to slide up and hurt yourself, so this could be used as that utility tactical blade if need be. Again, perfect for James Bond. So no complaints there. And then you do have that light blocky jimping of the G10 that just gives you a little bit of traction with that thumb ramp. But I mean, you're in complete control of this knife and doesn't create any sort of hot spots. The pocket clip is pretty, you know, contoured to the body and really, really works well. And there you have it, folks. Just kind of give you some perspective there when I line up the two handles. You can see it's just a hair longer than an American Lawman. About, you know, a quarter inch maybe, and the blade lengths are exactly the same overall, but you're getting only a 3-inch cutting edge on the Lawman because of the designated finger choil. I like there are positives and negatives to a finger choil. This, I like the fact that I could use it, but it's not necessarily a designated finger choil on the GoldenEye. Ba-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da, do-do-do. Man, doing this video makes me want to go watch a James Bond movie right now. Maybe the GoldenEye movie. We'll see. But folks, thanks for coming over here today. Final thoughts on the knife. If you can get over the gold, I think this is a phenomenal blade. And if you can pick it up for $115 is the high end. You know, $85 is what I paid for it. Anywhere in, I mean, $115 if you pay full price for it on Blade HQ or Amazon, I think you're still getting a great knife. The handle ergonomics, the blade steel, the blade shape, it's a cool blade and it's different. So if you like different and you like cool and you like performance, you're gonna love this knife. If the gold thing does not connect with you, I 100% understand. That's what held me back for so long with this knife. And you know, you're gonna pass on it, get the American Lawman, get a full-size Recon, you know, go with a Code 4, and you'll still be totally happy with those designs as well. And be excited because I believe, from my understanding, Cold Steel is transitioning to all their higher-end folders, like the Recon, like the Lawman, like the Code 4, to S35 VN in coming months, because I guess they've been having some difficulty with the XHP steel that they've been using for a while, getting it, you know, readily, so they're transitioning to the S35 VN. It's easy for them to get their hands on. But yeah, it's a great folder. Check out some of the other designs as well. You know, they have like a higher end Damascus steel, I think, one that's like $200 with carbon fiber handles. There is the carbon fiber handle version of this as well. That's like $200. I mean, if you really like the knife that much, great. And it's a black handle, so maybe the gold and black, you know, make a little more sense with that. But options out there, guys. But it's a cool blade, and it's a very functional blade. If you can get over the gold, it's extremely functional and will, I believe, last you for years, and you'll be really happy with the performance. So thank you so much for coming over here today, checking out the channel. Check us out on all the relevant social media, Instagram, Facebook. That's a great way to see what's up and coming, projects I'm working on, different things like that. You can see that I got this, you know, a couple weeks ago before I did the testing, and you'd be like, oh man, that's cool, that video's coming up. So that's a great way to see what's up and coming, communicate with me in a different way. If you're not a current subscriber, I invite you to become part of the GT family. We're throwing up videos like this every single week, having a great time. Make sure to hit that bell icon. If you're a current subscriber, you rock. Thank you for your support and continued viewership. Make sure that you also hit that bell icon next to the subscription button so that these videos show up in your news feed. And ultimately, if you're having a hard time finding these and they don't always show up in your news feed because YouTube messes with algorithms sometimes, just come over to the homepage, you know, week in, week out. I throw up 2 to 4 videos every single week, giving you guys content just like this. So finally, guys, thank you so much. Always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.